around 3.5 years back when I was working in some MNC company at that point of time. So I was thinking like, okay, this particular job is not meant for me. I'm in the wrong place and I need to come out of it. So what should I do? What suits me? What interests me? What I always thought about performing or doing? Because I was introduced to this particular hacking through some movies or some series, and back then I used to watch this series called as Mr. Robot, and I was always fascinated about it, like how this person is able to do all sorts of things and how to become anonymous on the internet. We are going to see different techniques, different methods, and different tools. So that is going to be quite fun, and stay tuned for the next. These are the list: basics of networking. Those are like basics of networking concepts. So there are so many YouTube videos that you're going to get on the internet. I'm going to add few links in the description so you can follow them as well, and you can go to this download section. There will be security edition, so you need to download the security edition version. Okay, the size will be 4.8 GB. It comes with all pre-installed tools that is needed for you to perform different types of activities. This Oracle VM VirtualBox, install it according to your own operating system support. So I'm running Windows 11, so I have already installed it. Go to this download section and platform. Hello everyone, and welcome to Illusion. And this is the very first video. So my name is Ron Rocky, and today we are going to discuss what exactly hacking is. So how hard hacking is? It is pretty hard. It is not at all easy, because there are so many things to learn. You need to start it in a proper way. You need to explore different tools, different techniques, different methods. So it's kind of a lengthy process. It does take some time, but yes, it is quite challenging and interesting. Where to start from? The very first question. So I will just share my side of this story. So around 3.5 years back, when I was working in some MNC company at that point of time, so I was thinking like, okay, this particular job is not meant for me. I'm in the wrong place and I need to come out of it. So what should I do? What suits me? What interests me? What I always thought about performing or doing? Because back then I used to explore different technological domains. I had basic ideas about what exactly machine learning is, or what exactly website building is, or what exactly application building is on different platforms. So I had some idea about it. I also had the opportunity to explore Internet of Things domains as well. So working with embedded boards and writing out piece of program codes so that you can see some changes happening in front of your eyes, controlling some sensors. So these were quite interesting thing that I did long back, and it always suits me to explore different technology. So at that point of time, I was introduced to this particular hacking through some movies or some series, and back then I used to watch this series called as Mr. Robot, and I was always fascinated about it, like how this person is able to do all sorts of things. And the spark was there to learn this particular thing from a very long time, but didn't know from where to start, because at that point of time no one was there to guide or show me how to do it. And when I tried to browse the internet, there was not there wasn't any proper content available, anyone showing like, okay, this is how you need to follow, this is the place from where you need to start. So that was quite a challenging phase, and what I did is I just went to Google. I started googling like, what is hacking, what are the books for hacking, how you can become a hacker, who are the top hackers, and all sorts of things. Like, I did my homework around like 4 or 5 months. I just googled everything. I saw like, okay, you need to install some virtual machines, you need to install some application that is going to help you to run couple of operating systems on your top main operating system, and using different tools to perform different types of activities, controlling different machines. So these kind of research I started performing, and I came across with YouTube's couple of videos, in Google some books, some forums. Okay, and I thought that, okay, I will become a hacker. Then why I want to become a hacker? Because it was cool, because there are so many things to learn, because it's a evergreen domain, you can say, because it's not going to stop it here. You can just explore the infinite amount of knowledge around you, and so many things can be done. So but no one is going to show you that, right? That's the big challenge. This is the place from where you start learning things, asking questions. So that is the reason why I came here. I started this channel. I am going to upload a lot of videos. You need to ask a lot of questions, and that's how you're going to learn things. You need to ask the questions not only just from me, but from the internet as well, from the books, from other people, from everywhere on the internet. So that's how you're going to learn things. Prerequisites needed in advance. So there are few things that is needed in advance. So these are the list. Basics of networking, those are like basics of networking concepts. So there are so many YouTube videos that you're going to get on the internet. I'm going to add few links in the description so you can follow them as well. So these people are like quite good in explaining networking related concepts. Even though in my upcoming videos also I'm going to discuss about the networking concepts, which are quite important, because that is going to make the fundamentals strong. Then a decent computer. So your computer should be having i5 7th generation processor, 8 GB RAM, proper internet connection around 50 Mbps or more. Curiosity and persistence, definitely curiosity, because you need to ask these questions to yourself, like how exactly it is working, why it is working in this way, what will happen if I just use these commands together along with this particular tool, how I can just achieve this particular task. So these kind of questions, when you ask inside your head, when you ask it as a comments in my videos, then that's how you will able to get that curiosity thing inside you, and that is going to help you a lot in upcoming learning phase also. Persistence is very much needed. You need to continuously do things. Like at some of the days you might feel like, okay, I'm tired, I'm not in the mood to do, but of course you need to push yourself and just spend little bit of time, just make it in a continuous way, because there are thousands of things to learn, and so many tools are there to explore, and it is not going to be easy. But yes, you need to give your best, and then you will able to see the result also. Then one more key skill is Googling. So browsing the internet in a proper way is quite important. I am going to show you how you can use Google filters to perform something called as Google hacking. So it's not about hacking Google server. It is basically using Google filters to filter out the result in a more proper way. Practice. So whatever you're going to learn, whatever the tools, techniques that you're going to learn here, you need to practice. You cannot ignore it's not like that you're going to watch the video and it's something, some magical thing is going to happen and that knowledge is going to be transmitted in your head. No, that doesn't happen. So you need to practice, the most important aspect of this particular domain, because there are hundreds and thousands of tools, different methods, different techniques. That's going to confuse you. Most of the people get confused here, and when people practice, they get the confidence, and that's how they can just explore a lot of other techniques as well. Taking breaks are very important. So while performing these tasks, you need to take breaks, and you just need to be relaxed. So taking break is like you can play games, you can just see some YouTube videos, watch songs, anything, but breaks are very important. Have fun. It's not like that you have only 1 year and some doomsday is coming, the world is not going to be there, and you just need to become a hacker in 1 year. No, it doesn't work like that. It takes time. But yes, it's a long time investment, and you ask any investor, when you invest for some good product for a long time period, you're going to get a good return. So it's going always going to be a proper and a safe return that you're going to get at the end. So that's the challenge, like, because once you spend some good amount of time, once you are able to understand that how big the cyber world is, then you will have the fun, the real fun, that okay, this is what I can do, this is the power that I need. So those things are quite advanced. We will come there. Okay, so this is the place from where we are going to start. So today we are going to talk about our lab setup. So how we can set up our own virtual lab on which we can perform all these practicals, and what are the requirements for it. So basically, your computer should have at least 8 GB of RAM, because 8 GB is enough for you to perform the practicals smoothly. And if you are using HDD and if it is suitable for you to upgrade it, then you can upgrade it to SSD. That's going to be more faster. Why I am saying these things? Because when you create your lab, you need to have multiple machines running simultaneously so that you can perform the practicals. Okay, multiple machines means multiple challenges, multiple scenarios, and multiple different ways and multiple different tools to explore. And that's going to make things more easy. So that is the reason why I am just giving you this minimum requirement. So if you satisfy this minimum requirement, that is more than enough. These are three things that you need to install. So vulnerable machines, I'm going to share the links in the video description, so you can download those machines from there. This operating systems, Parrot or Kali, you can choose either one of them. I'm going to choose Parrot because I like Parrot a little bit more compared to Kali. That's the only difference. But anyways, and VirtualBox and VMware. So VirtualBox we are going to download, and I'm going to use VirtualBox. I'm not going to use VMware. In upcoming videos, I may use VMware sometimes, but I prefer VirtualBox because of the functionalities. I can completely control the virtual machine. So the options that we get in VirtualBox are quite good compared to VMware. So that's my personal preference. Anyways. Okay, so how to download these things? From where you can download it? You can go to Parrot Security org and you can go to this download section. There will be Security Edition. So you need to download the Security Edition version. Okay, the size will be 4.8 GB. It comes with all pre-installed tools that is needed for you to perform different types of activities. There are different other sections as well, like Home Edition, which doesn't comes with any kind of tools. Okay, Hack the Box. So if you don't know Hack the Box, we will talk about it in our upcoming videos. Okay, then other platform support options are also available: Cloud Architect and Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to download the Security Edition because this is going to be the one with all the tools that is available for us. So just click on download. You can just get this Oracle VM VirtualBox, install it according to your own operating system support. So I'm running Windows 11, so I have already installed it. Go to this download section, and platform packages you need to install, and apart from that you also need to install this extension pack. So click on new, give some name here. So you can give any name. You can give Parrot YouTube. Okay, then here in the third option, you need to choose the ISO image. So browse for that ISO image, the one that you have downloaded. I am having Parrot Security 5.1.2 AMD 64. Select open, click on next, and then give the RAM. So I'm having enough RAM. So you can see I'm having 16 GB. So I can just assign 4096. Okay, and I'm having multiple processors. Okay, so 12 CPUs are there. My processor is basically 6 core. So I can just increase or give it around 2 CPU. Click on next. So I'm going to give around 35 GB. Click on next. Click on finish. And that's it. Next, you can just click on start. And when you click on start, it is going to start the machine for you. And most of the Linux machines are going to have live boot feature enabled. That means without installing this machine, you can access the machine. So this Parrot is also having the same feature. So you can see here it is going to show try install. So when you press enter, because mouse is not going to work here, you just need to press enter. Now when the Parrot loads, it is going to be a very small box. Okay, so what you can do is you can just take your cursor on the top, drag it, click and drag it bottom, then drop it again on the main screen. It's going to become big, but you can see the image, the background desktop image. It's quite distorted. So you can just right click, go to the properties, appearance, preferences, and you can try to change the desktop background. I am going to keep something. Okay, this looks good. Okay, cool. Now, this is going to be a temporary background because we have not installed the Parrot right now. It is basically a live boot which is visible on the screen right now. So on the left hand side on desktop you can see installation icon is there. So double click on that install Parrot. That is going to give you this wizard where you need to click on next. Okay, select your time zone. I'm in India. I'm going to select India. Click on next. Choose this English keyboard on the right hand side tab. Okay, click on next. Then erase disk, because this is a virtual hard disk space that is allocated for Parrot. So it is not going to affect the main hard disk. So you can just choose erase disk. Click on next. Then you can just set up any username. So I'm going to choose my favorite username, Elliot. What is that computer name? I can just give robot, and you can just give some password, something easy, something simple that you can remember, because you are going to use the password next time when you are going to access the terminal and when you're going to use other tools as well. Click on next. All right, click on install now. Now it is going to take some time, you need to wait for some time. All right, so it seems that the installation is done. So there is a little bit more process that is left out. So once that installation process is done, you will able to see this restart now. So you can click on this restart now, click on done. So it's going to restart the Parrot machine. So once it restarts, if you are able to see the login prompt, then the installation is successful. But you can see here, I'm able to see this try and installed mode again. So I'm going to go to this devices, okay, on the top optical drives, and there you just need to check, uncheck this ISO box of Parrot, and then right click on that red button, power off, close the machine and restart the machine once again. And just to be sure, go to devices, optical drives, and you will able to see this ISO image is unchecked. Now in the background you can see right now the machine is loading, and the login page will come. But here the interesting part is why we uncheck this ISO. So if you have installed any Windows operating system on your computer using a pen drive, so that pen drive is going to have this ISO file inside it, right? And that's how the booting process will be done. So right now we are also basically done with the installation. So we are removing the boot device, which is the pen drive. So just unchecking this ISO file is going to remove that virtual pen drive. All right, and now this the installed version of Parrot will be booted up, and you can see this login prompt is coming now. You can give the password, and you can log into that machine. So at this point of time, whatever you're going to do on this machine will be saved. But when you are performing any activity on live machine, and if you think the details will be saved, no, all the activity that you're going to perform, it's going to be lost on the live machines. Okay, so it is better that you should use this installed version of Parrot, because you need to install a lot of tools which is going to be needed in multiple different practicals, so that is going to be a challenge. Okay, anyways, so this is how the Parrot looks like. It is a Linux based machine. Kali also looks very similar to this only. I will open Kali and show you that as well. So here on the top bar you can see this Pluma text editor, then this middle one is terminal icon, then the browser. So Parrot is having Firefox as a default browser. So you can just click on that terminal icon. You can start the terminal. This is how the terminal looks like. So to make the this terminal content bigger, so you can use Control Shift plus and Control minus to downgrade the size. Okay, anyways, so this is going to be the place where you're going to spend some good amount of time, around like 90% of the time. So you need to have some basic understanding about the terminal commands like who am I, okay, if config, So if config is basically used to list out the IP details, where you will able to see some IP related to your Parrot machine. Who am I is the very common command to check permissions. So we will talk about all those things, like why permissions are needed, and why you need to have some understanding about the IPs and networking concepts, why it is going to play an important role, why basic Linux commands are needed. So I'm going to show you some contents on the internet. Basic Google search can help you to find some basic Linux commands details. Okay, so you can just go to Google, search out for Linux commands cheat sheet. This is how I also learned. Okay, this is how you can also learn. So you can just go to Google, search for it, and the basic commands are more than enough. Okay, how you're going to list out files, how you're going to change your location. Okay, opening files, checking out the manual page, and all basic things which is needed. So basic commands are very very important. So you can just go through couple of cheat sheets and you will have some idea about it. But you need to practice. So let me just show you how you're going to use those commands. So first of all, Linux machines are quite different than Windows machines. In Linux machines, the file system is different compared to Windows machine. Here you are going to get something like CD forward slash, which is basically the main location where all system related files will be there. Okay, so if you see the terminal, then Elliot is nothing but my username, Parrot is nothing but the machine name, and this wave symbol, that is going to represent my current location on the terminal. And whenever you're going to change the location, you're going to see this forward slash. So when I change the location, I want to list out what are the files that are present inside that location. So ls is going to play an important role. When you type ls, it is going to list out the files. So these are some system related files. Now, not everything is useful for you. Some of the locations we are going to come across with some of the tools that we are going to use. For example, home. Home is a location in Linux where a user profiles will be placed. That means when multiple users are trying to access the same Linux machine, the machine is going to create different profiles and those profiles will be placed inside home. Okay, then we called as boot. So boot is that location which is going to have files which is needed for this operating system to boot up properly. All right, then you're going to come across these lib files, which are nothing but library files acting as dependencies for many of the services and tools that are present in Parrot. Okay, then you're going to come across something called as var, temp, and etc. So these are going to be quite useful location when you're going to use certain tools, and when we are going to see some web server related applications and activities. So we will come across that. So there are different types of file locations or files that are present in this particular place. So this is like the file system which is known in Linux. And if you just want to go to your default location, you can just type cd, press enter. It is going to take you to your default location. So where exactly your default location is. So you can use pwd, that is going to show your present working directory like home idiot. So that is the place where I am. And if I just type ls, it is going to list out the default directories that are present in that location. One more thing you need to understand, that is in Linux, all the commands, everything, and all the directories, everything is files. Okay, so that is why it is known as file systems. So files are going to store different other files as well. It is going to store piece of program code as well. So the commands that you're executing, this is nothing but a piece of program code that is getting executed in the background when you're trying to use this particular command on the terminal. So that is how this thing works. But not to make things more confusing, you just understand in this way that directories are nothing but these things. Okay, they're going to be a color difference. Okay, so there will be directories and there will be files. Okay, so I can just get inside this directory called as desktop. So once I am in my desktop location, then I can just use this command called as touch. Oops, touch touch file1, and it is going to create a file on my desktop location. Now this file is going to be empty. I need to see how many files are present in that location and what are the permissions of those files, whether it is empty or having some data. So ls-l is going to list out the files along with their properties. Now on the left hand side, you can see this is called as file permission section. Okay, read, write, execute. So different sections will be there. So three different groups you can see here. So the first one is going to be users, okay, or you can say owners. Then it is going to be groups. Then it is going to be others. Then you can see who has created the file and which group it belongs to. So by default it is going to be the same user group, and this is going to be the size of the file in bytes, the date and time of modification or creation of the file, and the file name. So right now you can see file 1 is having 0 bytes of data, so I can just use echo command, echo, and want to put some message inside it. So what's up, nice time. And I'm just going to use this arrow symbol, and I'm going to direct it towards file 1, and it is going to save that data inside file 1. Next, what? Next, if I just type ls-l, I'm able to see that the file 1 is going to have some piece of data inside it, around 18 bytes. What's next? Next, I can just try to print out the content on the screen using cat command. So cat space file 1, and it is going to print up the content on the screen. So like this, you can just access the contents of any kind of files, doesn't matter what exactly the values are or what type of data is inside that file. It is just going to throw it on the terminal. So if it is a executable file, yes, you're going to see junk values on your screen if you use cat command to print the content of the file on terminal. Okay, like that, you need to have some understanding of moving files from one location to other, or creating certain directories and storing those files and changing permissions. So that is going to play some important role. All right. So let me just show you. So I'm just going to use mkdir to create a directory like hacks, get inside hacks, and I can just use touch again. This time I'm going to create file 2 or file 1, 2, or 2, anything is fine, and then I'm going to put some data inside it. Now suppose you just want to put some lengthy data, so you can use some text editors which are already installed in Parrot, like Pluma text editor. Okay, so you can write down paragraphs if you open that file using that. So very simple, Pluma, and you can just give the file name and press enter. The editor will open. Then you can write down your paragraph and whatever you want. Okay, and then you can save the file and close it. So when you close it, you will be back. You will be redirected back to the terminal here. And if you want to use some terminal file editors like Nano, then you can use Nano and Vim. I prefer Nano, so Nano file 2, and it is going to open in this way. Now you can just put your data. Okay, okay, cat file 2, hello, what's up? So like this, you can use Nano text editor as well to make some changes inside file content and do some modifications. Like suppose you want to change the name of the file without changing the content, so you can use move command. So file 2, and you can make it as like change me, and voila, change me. If you want to come out of directories, you can use cd dot dot. It's going to take you one directory back. ls, you can see the list of files. And if you just want to delete some file, you can use rm and the file name. And if you want to delete a directory, rm and the directory name, and press enter, and you can see the directory is not empty. At this point of time, you need to understand that not all the commands are going to be static. Some of the commands are dynamic. That means they are having some more options. That means they can do some more tasks. So how to list out those options? The best way to list out option is using man page. Okay. So you can use man rm, and it is going to give you the manual page of rm command. So not all the commands are going to have manual page, some of them are having. So manual page is having properly described command, and all the options are given. So suppose I just want to understand how to delete empty directories. So you can use -d to remove empty directories. How to delete directories which are having some contents inside it, -r. So once you are done with using the manual page, you can just use Q to come out of it, and then you can use rm-r, and then you can just delete that whatever the file that is there, or whatever the directory that is there. So like hacks, and now you can see it's gone. Okay, all the files inside it is also gone. So like this, basic Linux terminal commands plays a very important role, and this is how you're going to practice. Okay, you need to take help of internet, and I want you to search it by yourself so that it is going to be useful for you to understand how to search on Google. The skill of Googling that we were discussing before, that is important here. Okay, so just try to look out for Linux command cheat sheets, and a small task for you will be to just do some research about Google Docs. In next video, we are going to see how to become anonymous on the internet. We are going to see different techniques, different methods, and different tools. So that is going to be quite fun, and stay tuned for the next video. So until then, bye bye. See you again. And if you liked it, so do share it with your friends, families, and